Hi everyone, my name is Salu Said and you are at Graphicacy, a YouTube channel on Tableau, graphic design, and data literacy. In today's video, I'm going to talk about the two options available for joining tables on Tableau. I mean, the logical and the physical layer. Let's get started. Even before explaining you what's the meaning of the physical or the logical, I want you to understand how to navigate between them. Here, I will start something from scratch, a new data source, Microsoft Excel movie table. So, when I drag and drop one table to the Canva, my first contact here is with the logical layer. This image here means that you are at the logical layer. We have two tables connected by a noodle, right? If I double click, I can see the physical layer. The physical layer have this border right here. Also, on the top right corner, you're gonna see this X button. If you hit this X button, you basically go back to the logical layer. I remember when I started using this thing, I thought that when I click the X button, I delete the physical layer. That's wrong. As soon as you add tables to the Canva, you're gonna have both the logical and the physical layer. It is not something that you can choose between or one or the other. No, you're always gonna have both. Visual difference between the layers is when we add more tables, for example, the table stars, at the logical layer, you're gonna see the tables are connected by a noodle. I will remove this thing, right? And when I go to the physical layer, if I add a second table, the representation is different. We can see here a Venn diagram. The noodles means a relationship and the Venn diagram means a join. At the logical layer, we have logical tables. At the physical layer, we have physical tables. If I click here in the Venn diagram, I can select the join type. I can define the join clause, so one field in one table matches with another field in another table, right? And again, if I hit the X button, I go back to the logical layer. So this is how you interact with the layers. Now, it's the moment to understand the meaning of those things. One metaphor that is useful to understand the difference between the layers is a box. The box represents everything that is in it, right? But if we open the box, we can see the components, the items, the different items that are packaged there. For example, at the physical layer, it's like if we open the box, so we can see the physical tables in it. Here I have table A, and this table A is joined with table B and table C, right? So I can see the different parts, the different components. And if I look at the logical layer, we see the resulting table, and at the physical layer, we can find the components of the logical table. With that being said, we can look at one image that Tableau used when this feature was launched. So we have here logical table A, and the logical table A represents all the data model that we have at the physical layer. So for example, at the physical layer, we have physical table A joined with physical table B, C, and D. Also, we have logical table B, and logical table B is a single table in the physical layer. At the physical layer, we can see here the joins, and at the logical layer, we have the relationship. So the relationship is the equivalent of the join, but at the logical layer. And what's the difference between the physical and the logical layer? That's our next topic. Let's start by joins because it's easier than the relationship. So the way the joins works on Tableau is very similar to the SQL universe. So if you are familiar with SQL, you know that on SQL you need a main table, you need a second table, you need a join type and a join clause. And the interface on Tableau is there to help you to set up the traditional join, the SQL join. So look at this example. We have physical table orders, physical table people, the join type is inner join, and here we have the join clause, which is region. It works the same way of SQL. It's intended for cases that we have one-to-one relationship. What does it mean? Means that for every value on the table on the left, we have a single value on the table on the right. Let's think about one left join. In this case, we have the table movie, the table movies, and the table stars. On the table movies, we have Oppenheimer, Barbie, and Spider-Man, and we have here the I. So when we do have a one-to-one relationship, the resulting table is something like this. At the beginning, we had 3 rows, and after the join, we still have 3 rows. So our data increased horizontally, not vertically. In the universe of SQL, if you increase the amount of rows in a join, probably you did something wrong. We're gonna cover that. So this is the traditional join. And then let's see what happened when you have one-to-many. The table movie, you already know what it is. Now let's have a look at the table rating. So the table rating, we have person ID, name, movie, rate, and comment. This means that we have in a website, every viewer can give one rate and leave a comment for one movie, right? So a single movie might have 100 of different users that give a review to it. So in terms of data, what does it mean? It means that for every movie on the table on the left, we have multiple rows on the table on the right. For example, we have here Oppenheimer. So for Oppenheimer, we have 2 matches. For Spider-Man, we have 3 distinct matches, and so on. And what's the consequence of have one-to-many relationship? The consequence is every time that we have a match, this row right here is repeated in the resulting table. So let's have a look. This is the result of this join. And if we look right here, we can see that the viewers of the movie Barbie is repeated 3 times. So if I create a visualization showing the total viewers by movie, I will reach wrong numbers. And that's the problem of creating a one-to-many, create a left join using a one-to-many relationship. And that is one of the use cases of the relationship, because the relationship have a very elegant way to handle this problem. A very good question to start understanding the relationship is, are logical tables independent? Yes and no. So when you create a join at the physical layer, you have a resulting table. And every visualization that you build using this data source gonna use this resulting table, okay? In the case of the relationship, if you have movies and movie rating, right? But you build one visualization just in using fields from movie rate, Tableau do not create a join in the background. Because if you are not using fields from the other table, what's the need to have a join? There is no need for that. That's the first thing. The best way to understand the relationship is like a more flexible join. One join that happens if it's needed, when it's needed, the way it's needed. That being said, let's do a hands-on exercise. I will build a relationship. I already have the table movie. We'll create a relationship at the logical layer. The relationship clause is move ID. Now we'll join the tables using the physical layer. I will add here the movie rate at the physical layer, and I will create a left join. That's one important difference. At the logical layer, you do not select one join type. The join type is defined in the level of the visualization, and there is different ways to have control on it, but it's not something explicit. I can have another video to explain you how to control the join type at the relationship. Now, the idea is I will build the same visualization using one data source, using join, and another visualization very similar but using the other data source. Let's start by the physical layer. I will add move ID, title, the sum of viewers, and the average rate. So here at rate, I will use average. Also, I want to see this as decimal. There we go. So we can see here that Oppenheimer has 60 million, Barbie has 177 millions, and so on. Now I will build another visualization, but using the other data source that use the relationship. Move ID here, title, viewers, and rate. In the case of rate, again, I will show decimals, and also I want to see the average. Good. So now if we compare the numbers are clearly different. Look at this. Barbie is 59 millions, and here is 177. Why they are different, in which one is the correct? They are basically different because here we have a one-to-many relationship. And if we create a one-to-many relationship using SQL, the traditional SQL, we got wrong numbers because we multiply the amount of rows. We repeat the rows, right? That's not the use case for the join. And here, when we use the relationship, I didn't tell Tableau anything about the cardinality. I didn't tell Tableau this is one-to-many, one-to-one. Tableau discover this thing alone and do all the job for me. I don't need to think about. I am explaining you the meaning, but think about one user that do not have any knowledge about data connection. They just use the relationship and got the correct number. So it's perfect for them. And yeah, as I said, the correct one in this case is the relationship. But the reason is it's because we have a one-to-many relationship. How it works in the background. The difference is the way the query is generated. At the physical layer, first Tableau creates the join, and after the join, Tableau have the group by and the filters and so on, right? And in the case of the logical tables, in the case of the logical layer, what happened is the table movie is aggregated in the movie level, and the table movie rate is pre-aggregated in the movie level. And after both are pre-aggregated, Tableau creates a join between these tables. So the join happens after the data is pre-aggregated. As a consequence, if Tableau is applying a join after aggregating the data, we are joining tables with less rows than they have at the beginning of the process. So for that reason, the logical layer is much faster than the physical layer. To close this video, I would say that for most of the cases, the logical layer is your first choice. Just use the physical layer if you really need to control the join type, or if you have one specific filter applied after the join. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button. I see you later. Bye.